Hello, brothers, and welcome to Sigma Old Man Channel. The loudest man in the room is the weakest. Frank Lucas. But here's the twist. What happens when a man walks in and says nothing, yet the entire room goes silent? That's not charisma. That's not charm. That's spiritually loud energy. The kind of presence that doesn't beg for attention, yet commands it. The kind that doesn't knock, but vibrates through people's nervous systems like a quiet earthquake. And no one does this quite like the Sigma male. Now, here's a wild fact to chew on. Studies in quantum physics have shown that human energy fields can subtly influence others without a single word being spoken. Translation? Some people actually enter a room and change the emotional climate just by existing. Sigma males. They're practically walking thunderstorms in human form. They're not yelling. They're not flexing. They're not tweeting inspirational quotes next to a shirtless gym pic. But their spiritual frequency, it's louder than a stadium, louder than your neighbor's lawnmower on a Sunday morning, and way more disruptive. So today we're diving deep, not into who Sigma males are on the outside, but why their energy speaks louder than any alpha roar, beta whimper, or influencer tantrum ever could. This isn't your typical Sigma fluff. We're going full throttle into 12 reasons why Sigma male's energy is spiritually loud, and trust me, you won't hear this anywhere else. Ready? Let's turn up the silence. Number 1, they carry the weight of questions. Most men are too afraid to ask. Sigma males don't walk around acting like they have all the answers. In fact, what makes their energy spiritually loud is that they carry around questions most people would rather bury and never deal with. They're not obsessed with being right. They're obsessed with getting to the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Most people build their lives on certainty, even if it's fake. Sigma males tear that down brick by brick in their own minds, silently, and that inner conflict radiates out of them like heat from a fire that never fully dies. You can feel it when they walk into a room. It's not cocky or flashy. It's that strange, intense vibe that comes from someone who's gone a little too deep into themselves and didn't flinch. They're not chasing surface-level enlightenment. They're grappling with questions like, why am I really here? What part of me is real and what was programmed into me? What if the world I've been told to follow is a lie? These questions don't make them depressed. They make them dangerous in the most unexpected way. Dangerous to the fake masks people wear. Dangerous to the systems that rely on blind obedience. Their energy is loud because it's not passive. It's the kind of presence that forces people to confront their own lack of depth without saying a single word. They don't try to teach you or save you. They just exist in a way that makes you second-guess everything you think you know. There's no fake calm in them either. You can feel the tension in their silence. It's like their mind is always processing something bigger than the moment, something you can't see, but you can sense. They question everything. Not because they're negative, but because they can't stomach shallow answers. And that kind of energy is contagious. You walk away from a conversation with a Sigma male and suddenly you're rethinking your entire value system, wondering if you've been sleepwalking through life. People don't understand why they're so intense without being loud. It's because when someone walks through life haunted by deeper truths and doesn't run from them, you can feel that. You don't need words. Their energy asks the questions you've been avoiding your whole life. That's what makes them spiritually loud and completely unforgettable. Number 2, they carry an aura of rejection for anything fake. Sigma males don't walk around exposing people. They just exist in a way that makes lies start to unravel. There's something about their presence that rejects anything fake before a word is even spoken. It's not attitude. It's not arrogance. It's just this raw, unfiltered energy that says, don't try to sell me what you don't even believe in yourself. And people feel that. Hard. It's unsettling, especially for those who live off pretense, polished personas, and borrowed opinions. They don't play the social games everyone else does. They won't flatter you to get something, pretend to be impressed, or nod along just to keep things smooth. And it's not because they're rude. It's because their soul simply refuses to participate in anything artificial. It's like their internal radar is allergic to anything that smells like performance. You can be the most charming, well-dressed, smooth-talking person in the room, and they'll still look at you like they're watching a bad movie with fake acting. And the worst part, they won't even call it out. They'll just go quiet, withdraw, disengage. That silence is brutal. It leaves people second-guessing themselves, wondering if their whole personality is just a performance they've repeated too many times. Sigma males don't do this to shame people. It's just what naturally happens when you place something real next to something fake. The fake starts falling apart. They're not into trends, cliques, or whatever everyone else is doing just to fit in. Their rejection of all that isn't loud, it's energetic. And people pick up on it without even knowing why they feel so exposed around them. The Sigma male doesn't need to say, "You're fake." You'll feel it the second you try to impress him with something you don't even believe in yourself. He won't validate it, won't entertain it, won't even flinch. That energy is pure rejection, but in a way that speaks more about integrity than judgment. In a world full of filters, likes and forced small talk, Sigma males walk around like a lie detector wrapped in skin. And that kind of aura, it's not just loud, it's deafening to those still pretending. Number 3, they're rewriting the masculine code without announcing it. Sigma males are quietly shattering every tired definition of what it means to be a man, and they're not asking for your approval while doing it. They don't fit into the alpha male chest-beating narrative, but they're also not trying to be overly soft, emotionally performative, or trendy just to be seen as evolved. They're not here to impress feminists or traditionalists. They simply are on their own terms. And that is what drives people absolutely crazy. Most men are handed a script. Be dominant, be nice, be hard, be sensitive, depending on the social climate. Sigma males throw that script in the trash without making a show of it. They don't announce their rebellion. They don't post a manifesto. They just go out and live by a code they wrote in silence, based on experience, introspection, and brutal self-awareness. That's why they feel like a glitch in the system, like they weren't programmed the same way the others were. And that energy, it's loud because it's unpredictable. You can't pin them down, you can't box them in, and you definitely can't figure them out based on some outdated category. People don't know how to handle this kind of masculine presence. It's calm but not submissive, confident but not controlling, deep but not overly emotional for the sake of being liked. Sigma males aren't performing masculinity, they've outgrown the need to. And in a world where everyone's busy either defending or attacking traditional masculinity, Sigma males are out here evolving it, quietly, authentically, and without trying to be anyone's hero. That's what makes their energy so spiritually loud. It challenges the binary. It stirs something in people who thought they had it all figured out. They're not signaling toughness or sensitivity. They're just moving through life like someone who burned the blueprint and started from scratch. And that hits deep, especially for men who are still trying to perform their manhood, and for women who are used to reading men like books only to find the Sigma pages blank, and yet somehow still intense. They are not redefining masculinity, they're transcending it. And that makes them not just mysterious, but spiritually confrontational in a way that words can't explain. And number 4, they make noise in the ether, not the echo chamber. Sigma males don't need to trend, go viral, or flood timelines with hot takes. Their impact isn't about visibility, it's about vibration. They operate so far outside the echo chamber that their influence doesn't register the way most people are conditioned to measure it. You won't see them battling it out in comment sections or putting their private life on public display for dopamine crumbs, but weirdly enough, they're the ones people can't stop thinking about after the interaction ends, not because of what they said, but because of what they activated in someone's mind without saying much at all. They move through life like ghosts that haunt your thought patterns. Long after a Sigma male exits the scene, people start replaying the conversation, dissecting his silences, and wondering why they felt so seen or unsettled. That's their arena, the inner monologue, not the online noise. They don't care to dominate digital spaces because they know real power doesn't need an audience. Their words aren't curated for likes. They're dropped like spiritual grenades and left to explode in the back of your mind days later. The reason this energy is so loud is because it isn't fighting for attention. It avoids it. And that's exactly what makes people lean in. Everyone's so used to being bombarded by forced opinions and overexposed personalities that when someone steps back and says less, people become obsessed with trying to decode them. Sigma males make noise in the ether, the invisible layer of influence that can't be tracked with analytics or hashtags. It's the kind of impact that creeps up on you when you're alone, thinking, not scrolling. They can change someone's trajectory with a single conversation, a look, or even a quiet withdrawal. And they'll never post about it, never brag, never try to collect followers like trophies, because they're not trying to be known by the world. They're trying to disturb it just enough to wake it up. Their silence feels like static interference to the echo chamber, which is why the noise chasers never know how to respond to them. In a world addicted to loudness, Sigma males are the frequency you don't hear, but can't escape. Number 5, they speak when it matters, and when they do, it lands like thunder. When a Sigma male speaks, it's never filler. There's no fluff, no verbal decoration, no empty small talk to pass time or fill silence. That's what makes their words hit harder than a shout ever could. Most people talk to be heard. Sigma males speak to strike. And when they do, it's not about sounding smart. It's about cutting straight through the noise with something so real, it leaves a mark you can't wash off. They've mastered the art of restraint. While others throw out opinions like confetti, Sigma males stay silent until they've got something that actually matters to say. And when it comes, it's like thunder cracking through stillness. Not because they're trying to be dramatic, but because the contrast is jarring. In a world of constant chatter, their silence is already powerful, but their words, they echo in your mind like a warning you didn't know you needed. Their delivery is brutal in the best way, no sugarcoating, no dancing around the truth. They say what needs to be said, clean, raw, and unfiltered. Not out of arrogance, but because they refuse to contribute to the garbage pile of half-truths and people-pleasing nonsense. They don't care if it ruffles feathers. They care if it wakes people up. And that intention gives their voice a spiritual weight that lingers way longer than the conversation itself. What's unnerving is how they can say one sentence and derail your entire worldview. You'll leave the room thinking you understood it. Then hours later, while brushing your teeth or lying in bed, it hits. That one line. It wasn't casual, it was planted. And now it's growing roots in your brain whether you like it or not. That's how Sigma males speak. Not to dominate the moment, but to own the aftermath. And the thing is, they're not loud about it. They're not motivational speakers or attention-seeking sages. They don't speak to prove, they speak to pierce. And that makes their words feel less like sound and more like energy. It's not the volume that makes them spiritually loud, it's the aftermath. When the noise dies down and you're left alone with your thoughts, that's when their voice booms. Number 6, their energy has edges. Sigma males don't come with smooth surfaces or soft padding. They're not here to be digestible, palatable, or easy to love. Their energy has edges, blunt truths, fierce boundaries, and unapologetic individuality. Most people dull themselves down to be more approachable. Sigmas do the opposite. They refine their sharpness until it slices through anything fake, manipulative, or superficial. And that's where the discomfort starts. People approach them expecting warmth and charm, and instead they walk into a wall of energy that doesn't bend to expectations. It doesn't flatter, it doesn't soften, it just stands there, completely unbothered by whether you approve of it or not. And this throws people off. They're used to others rounding off their opinions, softening their stance, dressing up their truth to be more acceptable. But a Sigma doesn't water himself down for comfort. He'd rather be misunderstood than be fake. His presence challenges people who are addicted to sugar-coated personalities. You can feel it when you try to get close, like hugging a sculpture made of angles. It's not that he doesn't feel or care. It's that he's not going to mold himself into what you want him to be just to avoid making you uncomfortable. What's wild is that people are still drawn to this kind of energy, even when it stings. There's a magnetism to someone who isn't trying to fit in. But they don't realize that standing too close without understanding what they're dealing with can metaphorically cut them. They take his honesty as coldness, his silence as arrogance, his self-containment as rejection, but none of that is true. It's just that Sigma males are raw, undiluted versions of themselves, and most people have never experienced that kind of spiritual sharpness without bleeding a little. The truth is, Sigma males are a mirror, a jagged one. If you're not solid within yourself, their presence will reflect back everything you've been avoiding. And that's what makes their energy spiritually loud. They don't yell, they don't chase, they just are, with all their angles intact. And those edges, they don't cut to wound, they cut to reveal. Number 7, their stillness isn't passive, it's calculating. Sigma males don't vanish because they're afraid of the spotlight. They disappear because the spotlight bores them. They're not hiding from life, They've just realized most of life is noise, distraction, and pointless performance. So they move in the shadows, not to be unseen, but to stay untouched. There's a huge difference between hiding out of fear and withdrawing out of power, and Sigma males are the latter every time. Their isolation isn't cold, it's deliberate. It's where they think clearer, move smarter, and protect their peace like it's sacred territory. They're not out here nursing resentment or licking wounds. There's no "the world doesn't understand me" monologue playing in the background. They simply prefer places where truth echoes louder than applause, where masks fall off, where energy doesn't lie. And the shadows, that's where all of that lives. That's why they operate there, not because they're broken, but because the light people chase often blinds more than it illuminates. Sigma males would rather see clearly in the dark than be worshipped under a spotlight that demands they become someone else. And people sense this. They feel that the Sigma's absence isn't avoidance, it's ownership. The kind of spiritual ownership that makes no excuses, no announcements, no demands to be understood. It's unnerving because we're used to people hiding when they feel weak. But Sigmas hide when they're at their most powerful. They don't need the crowd to validate their worth. They don't need constant engagement to feel relevant. Their silence doesn't come from insecurity, it comes from too much clarity. And this quiet autonomy is spiritually deafening. It shakes people who rely on attention to feel alive. It disturbs those who equate visibility with value. Sigma males dismantle that illusion just by doing nothing publicly, because even in the shadows, they're fully present, just not available. They're building, observing, evolving. And while everyone else is out there broadcasting half-baked identities, the Sigma is in the background refining his soul. That's not loneliness, it's sovereignty. That's not hiding, it's mastery. Their presence in the shadows isn't dark energy, it's refined energy, and people don't know what to do with that because we're trained to fear what's quiet. And Sigma males, they've made silence their domain and power their baseline. Number 8, they're haunted but not broken. There's something heavy but steady about a Sigma male's presence. It's not the kind of heaviness that drags, it's the weight of experience, of someone who's carried things most people wouldn't survive. Their aura doesn't try to hide the fact that they've seen darkness. In fact, it wears it like quiet armor. You can feel it without them saying a word. Those spiritual bruises, emotional wreckages, the existential battles they've had alone in rooms no one else entered. That's the haunted part. But what separates them from the broken is what they did with it. They didn't get bitter. They didn't become martyrs. And they damn sure didn't let their pain define them. They studied it, sat with it, got brutally honest about what it took from them and what it gave in return. And somehow, in all of that wreckage, they found something priceless. Fuel. Not the kind that burns out fast, but the kind that stays with you and powers a quieter, deeper kind of drive. This mix of damage and drive creates an energy that's hard to describe and even harder to ignore. It doesn't ask for sympathy, it demands respect. It's not fragile, but it's definitely not fake. And when you're in the presence of it, you don't just notice it, you feel it. It makes you wonder how many wars someone had to survive just to be that calm, that precise, that sure of themselves. And that's the spiritual loudness people don't talk about. The kind that doesn't show up in how someone talks, but in how they carry every silent battle like a badge that doesn't shine, but still stuns. Sigma males walk through life with scars that didn't break them. They built from them. And that right there is why their energy leaves a mark on people who still haven't even faced their own shadows. Number 9, their presence challenges the room's integrity. When a Sigma male walks into a room, the air shifts, but not because he's loud or flashy. It's because his presence quietly calls the bluff on everyone pretending to be someone they're not. His energy is raw, stripped of performance, and rooted in something real. And that kind of authenticity doesn't just blend in, it exposes. It shines a silent spotlight on every mask in the room. Suddenly, people who are used to skating by with charm, small talk, and surface-level vibes start to feel off. Not because the Sigma says anything, but because his very being reminds them of what they're avoiding: depth, truth, and self-awareness. This is where things get spiritually loud. You start to notice how many conversations are just noise, how many smiles are strategic, how many people are just performing a version of themselves they think is acceptable. The Sigma isn't judging. It's not even about arrogance. He's just there, fully aligned with who he is. And that kind of alignment is unsettling to anyone who isn't. His presence doesn't give people room to pretend. It subtly dares the room to raise its standard, not by demanding it, but by existing at a level of self-integrity that's rare. It's like spiritual sonar. People feel exposed, not by what he says, but by what he doesn't need to say. And when you're inauthentic, that's terrifying. This is why some people instinctively avoid sigmas. It's not dislike, it's discomfort. Because being around someone who's that grounded in truth forces you to hear the silence between your words, feel the shallowness in your gestures, and recognize the ways you've dulled your own frequency to be accepted. That's the kind of presence that doesn't just stand in a room, it recalibrates it. It challenges the performance and invites something real to show up. Not everyone's ready for that, but once a sigma has been in the room, something lingers. The room remembers. And it's never quite the same again. Number 10, they make peace with paradoxes. Sigma males are living contradictions wrapped in one presence, and that's exactly what makes their energy so electric. They speak softly, almost like they're conserving energy, but when they do speak, their words cut straight to the bone, no fluff, no detours. That kind of brutal honesty paired with a gentle delivery is disarming. It forces people to lean in because they know there's something real hiding behind the quiet. They're not yelling for attention, they're commanding it through the weight of what they say. They're famously called lone wolves, but beneath that independent exterior is a well of deep emotion most don't expect. They feel profoundly, but never in a way that makes them needy or desperate. Instead, they hold those feelings close like a secret weapon, using them to fuel their inner world without exposing it to just anyone. It's a delicate balance between vulnerability and guarded strength that leaves most people baffled and intrigued. They aren't lonely. They choose solitude because it sharpens their clarity, not because they're broken. Their discipline is another paradox. On the surface, they live by strict rules, routines, or mental frameworks that keep them grounded and effective. But inside there's a chaos, a storm of restless thoughts and impulses that few ever glimpse. That inner chaos is the birthplace of their creativity and unconventional thinking, which defies the neat boxes society tries to put around masculinity, success, or even spirituality. This blend of contradictions, soft yet direct, lone yet deeply feeling, disciplined yet chaotic, isn't a glitch in their character, it's the core of their power. It upends spiritual clichés like peace equals quiet or strength means aggression. Instead, Sigma males make peace with paradoxes and harness their complexity. Their spiritual loudness doesn't come from fitting in or following rules. It comes from being authentically, unapologetically both and. That tension, that unexpected mix, creates an energy that can't be tamed or ignored. It demands respect because it's real, raw, and refreshingly unfiltered. Number 11. Their energy confronts the illusion of control. Sigma males don't waste energy pretending they can control every outcome or twist life to their will. Their energy shatters that illusion for everyone around them. They move through the world with a quiet, unsettling confidence that says, I'm not here to hustle harder, I'm here to move smarter. They don't chase opportunities like a dog after a bone, nor do they shove their way through obstacles with brute force. Instead, they flow with a kind of eerie alignment, as if the universe itself bends and twists to accommodate their moves. This isn't luck or coincidence. It's a deep spiritual harmony that humbles the hustlers, grinders, and overachievers who are running in circles while feeling emptier than ever. What's so loud about this energy is how it confronts the most common spiritual lie we buy into, that control equals power. Sigma males live proof that true power lies in surrendering the illusion of control and trusting in the flow beneath the chaos. Their presence is a constant reminder that forcing things only burns out the soul, while aligning with life's rhythm allows you to move effortlessly even when the world demands constant action. People who hustle non-stop but feel spiritually bankrupt can't help but feel this tension when around a Sigma. It's like watching someone win a race without breaking a sweat while you're panting and stumbling. That humbling contrast cracks open the facade of control that so many cling to and reveals a deeper truth. Control is a myth, and those who master the art of letting go are the ones truly loud in their energy. This is why their energy feels like a spiritual sledgehammer to the ego-driven hustle culture. It doesn't need to shout to be noticed. It just is, reminding us all that sometimes the loudest statement is made by those who refuse to force anything, and instead trust that life will curve toward them when the time is right. Number 12. They carry the vibration of someone who's already met themselves. Sigma males carry an energy that feels both rare and unsettling because it's the vibration of someone who's already faced the deepest parts of themselves and came out on the other side. While most people are still wandering, trying to figure out who they really are, or chasing identity like it's some elusive prize, Sigmas have already sat down with their demons, stared them in the face, and accepted every ugly, uncomfortable truth they carry. This isn't some Instagram-ready glow-up or surface-level self-help victory. It's raw, gritty spiritual closure that's been hard-earned in silence and solitude. You don't have to know the details of their journey to feel the impact. It's a hum, a low frequency in their energy that resonates beneath every interaction. It's in the way they carry themselves, the calm certainty in their eyes, and the subtle way they command space without demanding it. This vibration is powerful because it's grounded in truth. They aren't running from their shadows or pretending they don't exist. Instead, they've embraced them fully, making peace with the messy, dark parts most people avoid at all costs. This kind of spiritual closure rewires everything about how they move through the world. It frees them from the endless chasing of validation, approval, or identity fixes. It gives their presence an undeniable weight, an authenticity that cuts through superficial noise like a knife. People pick up on this energy even if they can't explain it, and it's often why Sigmas are both magnetic and intimidating. You're not just dealing with someone confident or mysterious, you're dealing with someone who's met themselves fully. And that kind of energy doesn't just whisper, it vibrates loudly in every room they enter. When the world gets loud, frantic, and desperate for attention, Sigma males move like quiet storms, undisturbed, unapologetic, and unforgettable. Their spiritual volume isn't measured in how much space they take up, but in how deeply they disrupt the false, the shallow, and the hollow. They don't just walk differently, they vibrate differently. You don't just see them, you feel them, in your thoughts, in your energy, sometimes in your discomfort. They're not here to perform masculinity. They're here to rewrite it without permission, not by preaching or dominating, but by simply being the embodiment of stillness, solitude, integrity, and intensity. That kind of presence makes people confront themselves, and that's why Sigma energy is so spiritually loud. It exposes, provokes, and often awakens something most people have been avoiding, the truth of who they really are. Sigma males have made peace with pain, found strength in their solitude, and turned silence into power. They're the kind of men who don't need a spotlight to shine because their aura is the light. And in a world that thrives on noise, validation, and performance, that quiet, grounded force is both rare and revolutionary. So whether you're a Sigma yourself, drawn to their energy, or just beginning to understand this frequency, know this. Their presence is not accidental, it's ancestral, spiritual, cosmic. It's not here to impress, it's here to shift something. And once you've felt that shift, you can't unfeel it, because spiritual volume like this, it doesn't fade, it lingers, it echoes, and it changes everything. If you found this dive into Sigma energy as powerful and intriguing as I did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a deep cut like this. Smash the like button if this resonated with you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take on Sigma vibes, and share this with anyone who needs a little spiritual loudness in their life. Let's keep this conversation going and grow the tribe of those who see beyond the noise.